Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Write With Me at IELTS Juice. Today we have, a Task 1 report to plan and analyze, and here is the rubric. It says, the diagram below shows the floor plan of a public library 20 years ago and how it looks now. Well, this is a map, a floor plan, so it's very clear. We are not looking at a conventional one. In the IELTS community, I don't know why, but when you check, usually people talk about bar charts and line graphs and pie charts and tables. But when we talk about maps, there is a little bit of fear among candidates. Well, this is a map. It's completely ordinary. It's really, in some cases even, it's simple and maybe simpler. Maybe that's my opinion. I like maps, but to me it looks simpler. But I am not going to prepare for the IELTS test. You guys are. So that's why here, right now, what we are going to do, we are going to plan for this rubric. Now, let's first look at the question and the time frame. Central Library, 20 years ago and now. We have two maps. Now, which grammatical tense is going to be the dominant one? Future is definitely out of the question. So, what else? My favorite grammatical tense is present perfect here, because this shows how well something was and what has happened until now. So we can cover the changes using this grammar. Interestingly, if you wish to separate the maps and focus on the one 20 years ago, you need past simple. And then you need to also focus on the second map, which is about now, and for that you need present simple, or maybe even present perfect. So I am not going to eliminate these three. Well, yeah, based on your strategy, at one point we are going to use all of them, or one of them predominantly and the others maybe a little less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my favorite one on top, and the others will follow. So present and past simple tenses will be here. Why am I putting them here? Number one, to always remind myself the elements that I need to consider. I always need to consider if my sentences make sense and they are within this parameter. Are they present perfect tenses or past or present simple tenses? And the second thing is that during the exam, you're under stress. This will help your brain to save energy and use its energy on some important other elements like grammar and vocabulary. And your eyes will help you remember what to do with grammar, not your brain, because they're there. You always look at them and they remind you that, oh, I need to focus on present perfect tense. Let's start by our very first sentence, the visual. What is it? It's a map. We know. Good. What else? What does it show? It shows there are two maps. The first one shows how this place looked like, and this place is a central library. what this place looked like 20 years ago, and there are a series of changes that have taken place in this place until now, which is shown in the second map, in the second floor plan. Good. Are there any limiting factors? Do we know the place? We know it's a central library. It's a floor plan of a public library, but we don't know which city and we don't know which country. So that information is not given. What about time? That was place. How about time? Yes, time is given 20 years ago and now. So basically, we need to report the changes in data. Okay, what is significant here? That's an interesting question. Actually, a lot. Really, because when you look at the two maps, almost all elements are different, except maybe the entrance, which can be one of our main points, but I'm not going to choose that. Entrance is a reference point. If you're not familiar with reference point, we actually, for a map, we need something that you can just look at it and make it as a point of reference, so you can consider all the other changes based on that. And usually the reference point remains unchanged. And it's basically just an entrance, so it's nothing really. Anyway, that is not a good overview. What else? The corridor used to have some tables and chairs in the middle, and that was it. But now, as I can see, it's a lot different. And those tables and chairs are gone. The corridor is much cleaner. And there's a line for all reference books. And also on the other side, there is an information desk. And there are some machines, some self-service machines installed. Okay, now that's a huge difference now. Yeah, I can start with that. But before I come up with a second one, I need to tell you a little bit about the strategy here. If you look closely, in all Task 1 academic reports, you have this line that says, summarize the information, of course. How? By selecting and reporting the main features only, and make comparisons where relevant. This is the key, the part that says make comparisons where relevant. How? One strategy would be to talk about the first plan 20 years ago and just report everything as they were, using past simple as my grammar, and just go ahead. Maybe I should, put it a little bit on the side, because this is not a sentence, it's just something that you need to be aware of. Good. Now that's much better. So all the sentences come in past simple tense. And then we can come up with another body paragraph and basically say, okay, now the floor plan now looks like this. And you need another topic sentence, and you should use present. No, not present perfect. Thank you for reminding me that I should use present simple. Frankly speaking, you can use present perfect, but let me make my point here. Then you focus on present simple tense and what the plan looks like right now, and you just report it. This will satisfy only 50% of the rubric. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. Yes, we selected and reported the main features in 2 paragraphs and we're done. Did we make comparisons were relevant? Not necessarily. So that's why I may not suggest this, because it will not give you a very good score. It is a valid strategy. It's not wrong, but it doesn't get you far. So what is a good approach here? My suggestion is to divide the plan into 2 elements based on whatever you believe. I can just look at the entrance and say what happens, the things that have changed since 20 years ago on the left-hand side, and things that have changed on the right-hand side. Yeah, that's a way to go. So what has happened in the left-hand side, you just focus from top to bottom and you compare, like the CDs, videos, and computer games now has been completely transformed into children's fiction books and storytelling events with a couple of sofas. This wasn't there before. This is all new. And then you continue. You look at the corridor. Well, there was adult fiction books. Now it's all reference books. You go down. Reading room with newspapers and magazines now is turned into computer room. And I'm going to include all 3 here as the elements that have happened in the left-hand side of the entrance when you enter this public library. And I can follow the same thing over here. Another thing you can talk about is to divide your plans and their changes from the ones that haven't changed much and the ones that have changed basically or been completely eradicated. For example, children's fiction books, it was on the top right corner. If you look at it from the entrance, is we're at the end of the hall on the right. But now children's books are on the left-hand side. Again, down the corridor to the left, but the entrance is from the other side. So you basically need to say, yeah, you just once you enter, it's on your left, is in front of you on your left. Now that remained, the children's books section remained unchanged. The place has been changed, but something else like inquiry desk is now completely transformed into information desk and it's been renamed. Now that's different. Again, for this one, adults fiction books has changed its place, but not its function. The function remains the same. The place is different. You can divide your paragraphs like this as well. Now, based on that, you should come up with at least 2 overviews. Now, I'm going to go with the easy one, and I'm just going to focus on the changes on the left-hand side and the changes on the right-hand side. The complicated version, the ones that are, the function remains the same, but the place is different, and the other ones that the function and the place are both different, that is a little bit complicated. By the way, if you want me to come up with a plan for that one, let me know in the description below, and I will create a video for that. Here is the overview, and I need another overview to go to the conclusion. There are no numbers here, so I'm basically fine. I mean, I'm okay. Your overview is going to be a normal sentence. All the other sentences are going to be normal sentences. We don't have numbers, figures, percentages, ups, downs, increases, decreases. We don't have any of that. We basically need to logically organize our report. You might also say that, Kasra, we can just forget this and we can include all the information in one big paragraph. Does it work that way? Yes, but controlling a large paragraph, which in that case, if we just forget this one, let's, for instance, imagine that this happens, managing a large body paragraph, this is going to take 30 words. This is going to take 40 words, so 70 words. Your body paragraph needs to be 80, 90, 100 words. 100 words is usually 10 lines, 9 lines. That's a big paragraph to manage. Not to mention that with this, now you need to also be careful on the grammatical tenses to use, which is again confusing. So my suggestion is to divide based on the data you have on the floor plans, and based on that, decide on the grammar. If something used to be something in the past, in 20 years ago, but now it's different, make sure you use present perfect and past simple together. Something that was and it has changed. Or you can use another duet. It was something, but when you look at it now, it is something else. You can use another duet like this with past simple. Anyway, that's about it. So, if you wish to see a report written, assessed, and improved on this topic, click over here. If you wish to see other reports or essays planned like this, click over here. And as always, I urge you to eat healthy.